Wags International YouTube stream. Okay, now it's trying to prepare the live stream to the meeting.
It says meeting is now streaming live on YouTube.
It does?
Yep.
It does say that there, yeah.
Yeah. All right, I copied the streaming link. Yay.
Stream. Okay, now it's trying to prepare the live stream. And it is totally going live, but it is only showing my screen because you're just because you're just a
I'm just a bust of Shakespeare.
Just a bust of Shakespeare, but it's literally going to look like me talking to myself on this stream this week.
Hopefully it's getting my audio.
That is going to be fun. I hope it's getting your audio. Should I do a feedback loop to do that? I don't know.
Let's see.
But this is the part where we type it into.
Okay, it is getting my audio, so we're good. Oh, you put my name first.
I usually do. It sounds better.
All right. Well, we're live. That's exciting.
We are live. Yes, we're live. We've got the YouTube link now on the Facebook so that we're just all over the place, which is about par for the course for us, right?
I was going to say all over the place is sort of our not our catchphrase, our tagline.
That's great. Now, this is going to be a slightly weird episode for those that are watching. This is the part where I talk and address the people on the video side of things because this won't make any sense in the podcast. Brandon is on the road, so now it's going to look like I'm talking to myself because apparently if you don't have a video feed, Zoom doesn't care, and it's just like, just look at the one video. That's all you need. That's all
right.
We need to show. So it's just my face and Brandon. That's what we got right there.
But it's a very handsome
gallery view. Does that change it? Let's find out if that changes that.
Yeah, try it. See what happens.
I have no idea what the delay is on the YouTube screen, so we'll find out real quick.
Yep. Let's see what happens. Until then,
now it says Brandon Carr. Yeah, it actually shows your name. It shows your name. Okay. When you talk, it's just a black screen that says Brandon J. Carr. Or Brandon Carr. That's
fine. Maybe we should always do it this way.
No, we have our faces on screen. We are too pretty not to be on screen, Brandon. That's what's going on.
You are very correct. Absolutely.
All right, let's start the show. Welcome to Five Dumb Things. Why do I drop into announcer voice every single time I try to start the show? It leaks in. Right. I'm not intentionally doing that too. It's all of a sudden it's like Saturday. Tune in to Five Dumb Things, despite the fact that we record on Thursday. Brandon,
Thursday.
Brandon J. Carr. I'm Darren J. Gendron. How are you doing, Brandon?
I'm doing great, Darren. Thank you for asking. But there's a backup on the 405 that's going all the way back to La Cienega.
Wait, those are my roads.
I know.
You get the 495, not the 405.
True, but I'm not around the Beltway right now. I'm far away, far from home.
You are on remote. You are searching for dumb things. So you have gone to possibly what might be one of the dumbest states in the union.
Sure, it is the capital of dumb things, and I need to say such things quietly because I am here in that place. I am coming live from Florida.
You are a Florida man right now, is what you're telling me.
I know. I did take a nice photograph of someone that I would describe as Florida man earlier.
Now, I do want to be fair to Florida, just a little fair to Florida. Half the reason why we have all these dumb stories about things that come out of Florida is because they actually have really good transparency laws, so that if you do something dumb and stupid and you get caught by the cops, there's a police report that comes out for that. So that's kind of why, but then also Florida. So it's a 50-50. There's way too many killer reptiles and humidity and hurricanes and bath salts being snorted. I'm sure that Utah or Iowa or Montana has got weird stuff going on too, and we just don't hear about it.
Well, it's probably good for me to know about these transparency laws before I do anything else dumb. I mean, anything dumb. Whoops.
Anything else? No, oh no, just dumb. Just so speaking of not doing dumb things, I do want to do some updates of what we've done since our last five dumb things episode. I put a note here. One of the dumb things we did just last week was Civilization 5, the older version of the game, which apparently I just got obsessed with, and my son just got obsessed with, to the point that we ended up having to buy a second copy so he could play with me at the same time. That just got so much dumber for me because as of this morning, you can actually download Civ 6 for free from Epic Games right now.
Oh boy. Well, actually,
That's
that's
not
really
a
good to
paid
know.
ad. I want to be clear on that.
I had no idea. Yeah, this is definitely not a paid ad for the wonderful and immersive experience that is Civ 6. I really feel like I'm running a civilization when I play Civ 6. I don't know if you mentioned it, but it is available for download right now from Epic Games for free.
Mm-hmm. Epic Games, come for the angry Fortnite players. Stay for the terrible server experience. That's Epic Games. Like,
true.
I don't like Epic Games. I'm going to be 100% honest. This is effectively old man yelling at Amazon Prime Video. That I liked Netflix before all the competition showed up because it was one source and you got all your things and we liked it, and it was terrible, but it was one thing. And now we have to have two things, and there's going to be three, and there's going to be five, and there's going to be competition, and then some of the crappy ones are going to fall apart, and then we're going to lose some things, but then they're also going to make really good things. So I don't know what I'm saying. I'm completely lost.
I may or may not have a friend who works for Epic Games, so I'm going to bow out of this part of the conversation.
To be fair, I actually really enjoyed playing Fortnite. I played it for like a month, and it was fun. I'm not gonna lie, it had a really clean, simple style to it. I'm cranky that I have to run two different game servers. I think I would get mad if there was like a Hulu of video game servers trying to make noise.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And oh, I do. I know exactly what you mean. And just going on the Fortnite point. So my son is 17, so of course he's been playing Fortnite forever, and I play with him quite a bit. And so there's one of the things that's sort of fun about Fortnite is switching out the skins and changing what you look like and things of that nature. Then they released an Imperial era Stormtrooper skin, and now I never am going to change skins again because I can run around as a Stormtrooper. And I'm not very good at Fortnite, so all of the missing that I do is now just in character.
Okay, fine. I'm taking over right now. I'm moving something around because you're hitting one of my bigger old man things. First off, we're not talking about Fortnite. That is not one of the dumb things. So what I nearly put is Star Wars is dumb. I almost went with Star Wars is dumb. I will get to what exactly I'm talking about, but first I want to address the common misconception that you're throwing out right now that Star Wars stormtroopers have bad aim. They have immaculately good aim. They are very dangerous, very effective. They have one of the first things that Obi-Wan Kenobi says about stormtroopers is he points out that it's clearly not sand people that took out the sand crawler because the aim was far too accurate. That there was a precise taking out. Here's the deal. We think that stormtroopers are bad shots because of A New Hope. In that original, when Han Solo, Chewbacca, and Luke and Obi, they all get aboard the Death Star, they rescue the princess, there's hundreds of stormtroopers, they can't hit any of those four characters. Vader's able to hit Obi-Wan to some extent, but they get away and the Falcon flies away, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's where the stormtroopers keep missing all over and over and over again.
Sure.
But that is also when Darth Vader plants a tracking device on the Millennium Falcon, which leads them straight back to the Rebel base so they could use the Death Star to blow up the rebels and end the rebellion. It was all part of an orchestrated plan. You don't shoot and kill the people that know where the Rebel base are. You make them run away to the Rebel base, and then you shoot and kill them. In the very next movie, Empire Strikes Back, they show up and they are just blasting the living heck out of the rebels. It's just a murder fest right away. It's the Battle of Hoth, and the rebels lose it bad. That is
So
accurate. Stormtroopers.
I'm going to refute your refutation, and here's why. The rebels mainly lost on Hoth because of the walkers, which took out most of the fortifications out front. The walkers that were not, you'll notice, piloted by stormtroopers. Second of all, the Mandalorian has now made it canon that stormtroopers have bad aim, not just in the scene with the scout troopers, but there is a reference to it in, I think Bill Burr has the line, "Oh, what am I, a stormtrooper?"
Says,
Yeah.
I wasn't a stormtrooper. Yeah, I hate
And
that line so much.
I know, but here's the thing. You brought up the Obi-Wan thing, and that is another common misconception, that everything everyone says is canon, which is not the case. Because as far as canon is concerned, Obi-Wan Kenobi never experienced a stormtrooper until he and Luke went to Mos Eisley, because he experienced clone troopers, which were immaculately trained and received a lifetime's worth of training and fortification and everything. And then he went to the sandbox planet before the Imperial era stormtroopers were ever established. And the next time, and okay, I haven't seen Rebels, so there may be a gap in here. But the next time that he saw something in white armor, he saw in Mos Eisley when they were looking for him and for Luke. Oh no, I'm sorry. When he talks, these are not the droids you're looking for, and he was probably a little confused. And he may have remembered the clone troopers and thought about it that way.
There were some clone troopers that already were starting to rock stormtrooper style armor in episode 3 era. Now, in Rebels, there is no contact with Obi-Wan with anybody Imperial. Obi-Wan is in Rebels. I am not going to spoil what happens in his scenes.
But I know the big thing. I don't want to spoil it for any of the listeners, but I know what happens for the most part in his big scene, and I can't wait to watch it. I'm really looking forward to watching what I've missed on Rebels.
Watch Rebels. That's one thing that you have to do. Watch Rebels. That's for the listeners and for you, Brandon. The other thing that might change that canon in the near future is that there is going to be an Obi-Wan series that takes place between episode 3 and episode 4. We get to find out then just how long have there been stormtroopers on Tatooine. We can find that out.
That's a good point. But at the same time, why would he see them and know that they have precision shooting while they're on Tatooine?
That's what I'm saying. They could have been on Tatooine for the entirety between episode 3 and episode 4.
But sure, but why would he know what precision they had if they're just camped out there? But I guess we'll find out on Kenobi coming soon from Disney Plus.
Yeah,
this is not an ad, but I'll tell you, there's nothing more reliable than Disney Plus, the streaming service brought to you by Disney.
My theory: the stormtroopers have been shooting womp rats, which is apparently the standard of accuracy. Also, why do we just let it slide that there are 2-meter long rats on Tatooine and everyone's okay with that? That we need to talk about that someday. Not today.
There's also a carnivorous hole in the ground on Tatooine, and so I think they're used to, and giant dragons that wander around the Jundland wastes. Wow, dragons, I'm digging deep into the old lore at this point. Anyway, why don't we move forward to what you actually wanted to talk about?
So one of the reasons I want to talk about Star Wars is because, I don't know if you know this, today exactly, May 21st, just to put a timestamp on it and let you guys know how long it takes me to edit an episode, Empire Strikes Back was released 40 years ago today.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
I was released 41 years ago this past Sunday.
Congratulations on being born.
Yeah, I am older than Empire Strikes Back. I feel like that's worth mentioning.
And yet you didn't go watch Empire Strikes Back, did you?
I didn't. I did see Jedi 3 years later. I
Such a
know.
fake nerd. I can't even believe I'm talking to you right
I
now.
I should just quit now.
Yeah.
I'm
So
gonna buy a football.
this is going to be a weird theme of today's episode where we reference things that were dumb 4 years ago during the first season of Five Dumb Things, because what I'm actually going to say is dumb is Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes.
Say what now?
This is a mobile phone game of Star Wars. It is one of two, count them, two Star Wars video games that have existed in the past 4 years. This is all EA has done with the IP. They've done that one, the Battlefield, and they've done Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, which is this mobile game, which is it's a quasi turn-based combat game where you get a team of like 5 characters from throughout the different timelines of Star Wars, and you put together this army and you fight somebody else's army, but you don't fight them in real time because they can't quite figure out how to do that, despite the fact that there are other mobile games that have totally done that. It's I like the gameplay. I actually really do. I like the fact that it's Star Wars flavor because I like my Star Wars. I like that it's free to play ish. You are not going to be the best player in the game if you're playing free to play. Um, I'm pretty damn good not paying any money for it because I'm in a really good guild and I have obsessively played this game for about 5 years. I can finish usually in the top 100 in my particular group, my seed of combat players, only because I'm good. But there's at least 10 people on my seed that I will never be able to beat. And I've done the general estimate. They have paid approximately about $1,000 to $2,000 a year to be better than me.
Yikes! That's too
And
many
whoever,
dollars.
what's that?
That's too many dollars.
That is far too many dollars. And just so we're clear, I'm not just saying $1,000 once and done. No, they keep doing this year after year because that's how you get the big fancy characters right away and then dominate with them right away. And the game has terrible balance, so it's always constantly trying to bring in power creep, and it's never nerfing things, it's never balancing things. It's always a case of a few years ago they came out with a Luke Skywalker from Empire Strikes Back. So then they countered it and they made it more dangerous by bringing out the Sith Triumvirate from the Knights of the Old Republic. And then they countered that by bringing out Jedi Knight Revan. And then they countered that by bringing out Darth Revan. And then they started going hard on the Clone Wars. So they made General Anakin Skywalker. And then they had to go hard for the sequel trilogy. So they had Galactic Legend Rey and Galactic Legend Kylo. That's where the meta is right now. But they also have a ship version of it as well that's running alongside it. So you get your ships and you level them up. Exact same thing. And this is what I'm saying is dumb. To celebrate Empire Strikes Back coming out 40 years ago, Galaxy of Heroes' big release was they came out with the Y-Wing as a new unit in the game. How
Huh.
well do you know your Empire Strikes Back, Brandon?
I know it fairly well. It is generally at the top of my list. It is my favorite.
You remember that great scene with all those Y-Wings in it?
Oh yeah, they were all over the place.
Were
Stuck
they?
in there with the A wings and the B wings, and no, I don't believe they were.
No, there's not a there's no starfighter combat in that entire movie. There is the Rebel fleet flees Hoth
Right.
and they gather above the galaxy. There is one frame of Empire Strikes Back where you see a Nebulon B medical frigate and a Y-Wing does a fast flyby past it. That is literally the only moment that the Y-Wing shows up in Empire Strikes Back.
Well, and it's weird also because unless I'm mistaken, there were Y wings in the trench run in A New Hope at the beginning before the X wings came in. Is that not
Yes.
correct? Oh, okay. So that makes sense, I guess.
They were 100% part of the Rebel fleet at this point.
Right.
They existed. There was
But I'm
Y-wings in the
saying,
trench run.
mhm,
Yes.
but they actually had action in A New Hope. They didn't have action in Empire, and so they've added them to the game for the Empire anniversary, is what you're saying.
Yes. I think what they did is they realized that the Empire Strikes Back anniversary was coming up. They wanted to release a new unit just for Empire Strikes Back. And then they were like, okay, so let's think of all these great characters. Okay, Darth Vader already in the game. Luke Skywalker Jedi training, put him in the game a few years ago. General Leia with the white Hoth jacket and the crown of braids in the game. Han Solo already in the game. Hermit Yoda already in the game. Random snowtroopers in the game. All the one because Battlefield has a big Hoth map, and they did a bunch of crossover stuff for Battlefield, and they put all those characters in the game already. So they kind of didn't have any new characters left over. I looked through, the best they could have done was they could have added Forlom and Zuckuss. That would have been.
There's one other very important character from Empire that they could have added, and it would have been amazing, and that's Wilro Hood.
Oh,
that would have. How incredible would that have been if he runs in there with his ice cream maker and just bashes the enemies?
They already have Lobot in the game too, by the way.
Yeah, so I mean, you may as well finish the Cloud City collection.
You could have made the Cloud City with Lando, Wilro, and Lobot, put it all together. They have an Ugnaught in the game, actually. We're up to 4 Cloud City characters right now.
Yeah, it would have fit. So it sounds like a big fail to me.
It's a hard fail.
Unless, and you don't know this to be sure, Wilro Hood may be the pilot of that Y-Wing.
We know that for sure. He would be in a cloud car. I mean, come on.
Well, no, we know that Cloud City was evacuated. We know that people went off to do their own thing. Maybe Wilro Hood and his ice cream maker went off and joined the rebellion, and that's the Y-Wing pilot.
Okay, but are we agreeing that using a Y-Wing for Empire Strikes Back in Galaxy of Heroes is dumb?
No, I'm saying that Wilro Hood was definitely behind the steering wheel, and it is not dumb.
Oh, you dirty SOB. Okay. This is the point where I didn't even bring up the coin flip yet. That's the thing. I was like, we're not going to need the coin flip. We're not going to need that. Why would we want the coin flip? Okay. Share
because
screen.
I would be failing in my role if I ever agreed with you.
Oh. I don't know. Can you see the coin flip?
I see something that is purported to be a live picture of a coin flip. Yes.
Okay. I'm going to say heads, it used its head. Tails, it was dumb.
It failed.
Tails is fail. Heads used its head. Okay, we're hitting the flip.
Yeah, lightsaber.
That means it's not dumb. Why am I happy about that?
I don't know. I thought maybe you were happy for me because we're friends, but I guess not.
No. I am bitter, and I am just absolutely crusty about that. I'm not happy. All right, so we are way over the 10-minute on that one, but it's your fault for talking about stormtroopers not having accuracy.
That's true. Although I'm pretty sure that I proved that I was correct in that, or that it's more ambiguous than you led us to believe.
The fact that you pulled the Bill Burr line, it hurts me because that is as accurate as it gets. The fact that is in the canon right now, it really, really chaps my hide. That's the only case where a character in that galaxy has completely discredited it and made the joke.
No, there was because then the scout troopers were sitting on their bikes and they couldn't shoot a can or whatever they were firing at, which was a pretty fun bit. If I would have rather had that bit than the Bill Burr line, because having both was a little much, but lends credence to the fact that within the Star Wars universe, it is a well-known fact that stormtroopers have poor aim.
Is it a well-known fact or a well-known myth?
Well, we see it happen with the scout troopers. So Also, depending on how canon you want to consider Tag and Bink, they do talk about how you can't. Oh no, actually, in New Hope, they even say I can't see anything in this thing, which you would have to be a really, really good shot to be able to be a good sharpshooter and not be able to see anything.
All right. To punish you, I'm going to take the next topic as well.
Oh no.
Oh no. Uh, so I'm going to go back to 2016 and mobile gaming again and say that there's been a lot, every now and then I get somebody who suddenly talks about how, hey, remember when we all used to play Pokemon Go and then we all just stopped?
Yeah.
That saying is dumb, 100% dumb, because whenever someone says that, I kind of look around like, who stopped? I
stopped.
have to ask, have you stopped playing Pokemon Go?
Yes, I did. I was never super into it to begin with. My son and I used it as an excuse to walk around the neighborhood, and then I decided to stop getting exercise. So,
so here's the thing: a lot of people did play Pokemon Go the first couple months it was out, and by a lot, I mean 500 million people. Right?
That's a lot of people. Yeah, for
That's
sure.
a lot of people. Then the year later, not as many people, but still a lot of people kept playing it. And everybody just talks about how they didn't play it anymore. And this is another thing that bugs me is a lot of times we as humans, we take anecdotal evidence, particularly personal anecdotal evidence, and we just apply it to everything. We're like, of course, if I'm not doing this, then everybody else is not doing this. If I stop
Darren, I've never seen that happen, so I don't believe it's true.
I hate you right now. Just feeling that hatred burn. But I'm not going to let it get to me because I have facts and I have statistics. I decided to look this up because the thing is, my whole family, we've still been playing Pokemon Go 4 years on at this point. Fun fact, I am still not level 40. If you guys want to know how much casual play, I obviously am not a casual player, but I am not a hardcore player. I'm somewhere in between on that one. I had when it first came out, I did spend some money on it to like buy some extra Pokeballs for a big day that we were doing. That was before. Since then, I've also bought Pokemon Go Pluses, the little automated things, and
oh wow.
And then we gave up on those because they were automated, but you still had to push the button on them. And we found that in Europe they had the gotchas, which were these little clear, like little bullet bead things, and they had an LED screen and a touch screen built into this, like 1 inch, like it looks like a tip of a thumb, basically.
Okay.
And we actually have been using those because those will automatically spin things for you. So you could spin Pokestops like while you're driving. I found that when I host trivia, back when I used to be allowed out into the world, that the venue that I hosted at, a couple of them actually had Pokestops within range. So I would just have the plus on, and at the end of the night, I would have added like a couple hundred Pokeballs to my inventory and caught like about 50 to 100 garbage Pokemon. And so sometimes I would catch something good, and maybe a shiny would pop in there, fun stuff. But yeah, we would play the game, and then they kept adding things to it. Like there's now actual live person versus person combat in that game. I am a terrible person to play against because that's where I get really obsessive. I have lots of ways to make you feel miserable if you play me in head-to-head combat. I'm very much into the meta game on that, and I train specially high IV Pokemon. And the fact that I understand the IVs of these Pokemon, that's something that should warn you guys. Don't play me head to head. I can understand that people are now going to challenge me as soon as I go back on conventions. I'm definitely going to have to fight people in Pokemon Go just so they can experience what it's like to lose 3-0 in a head-to-head battle. So that's me talking trash there, getting that done.
I know you're pretty worked up about this.
Oh, I'm worked up about it because they added, okay, first when it came out, the gym battling, it kind of sucked. And then they fixed the gym battling, they made the gym battling better. Then they added more Pokestops, then they added community days. This is when I knew for certain that anybody was talking about how uh, Pokemon Go is dead, how they were very much wrong. This was also back when I used to live right across the street from a park that had a major Pokemon gym. So I found out that when raids started happening and legendary Pokemon started getting released through raids, I got to find and meet the local Pokemon group in 2018, and sort of I joined in with them and started doing raid groups. Like we would have a message, we had a Discord chat group where we would be like, hey, raid's going on in 20 minutes, let's get a group together, come in. And I started really loading up on legendaries, and that was a lot of fun. Also, I don't know if you remember this, in 2018 I actually ran for state senate in California,
Oh, I
to
remember.
get enough local signatures to actually get my name on the ballot. I used the Pokemon Go group. I went to raids and I said, hey guys, I don't want to force anybody to do this, but if you want to get like a technologically savvy person onto the California State Senate and to talk about doing net neutrality and to make sure that net neutrality is a campaign issue, I'm running on that issue. And
That's pretty
they
clever.
all,
You're a clever guy.
that's what got my signatures, got my name on the ballot. I got it in the debate. I lost the election, but the net neutrality bill did pass in the California Senate, so it's a wash. Um, Anyhow, I wrote down a bunch of different numbers here, and it's weird because it's actually from 2016 to 2019, it's grown. It took a dip in 2017, but it's now bigger than it was in 2016.
That's crazy.
That is crazy. And it's hard to wrap it around. Like people can't wrap their mind around it, but it's a much more uh it's not a giant, we're not attacking all at the same places. In LA, there was like 3 places where hundreds of people would gather and play Pokemon Go. There was a place in Long Beach. There was the Santa Monica Pier and Disneyland. Those were the 3 places that I saw massive crowds of people playing Pokemon Go. Yes, I said that right. People were going to Disneyland to play Pokemon Go.
That's bonkers. That
It
is
was crazy. Yeah, it was nuts. And now instead of hundreds of people all showing up in one spot, it's more 10 to 30 people showing up in different areas in little towns now. And it's also community days once a month where every single park just suddenly gets filled with Pokemon Go players, which is hilarious in the town that I'm in, because the park that I like to go to is also very, very much loved by the quinceañera community. Uh,
interesting.
yes, that quinceañeras, it's a celebration of a Latina's girl's 15th birthday where she gets a very fancy ball gown. The entire family goes into formal wear, and they, before the celebration, they like to get photos that way. Everybody's dressed nice, so yeah, go get a family photo. So they tend to show up at this park every single weekend, but it gets really weird one weekend a month because all of us nerds are like, nah, man, I gotta get that Dratini. Like, he's got a special attack coming out. So it's insane. It's still there. Also insane when I was looking through other games, that mobile games in terms of revenue, it's the 5th biggest game on your phone right now in terms of revenue. I can't find the numbers for how many people are actively playing it each month. I know if I did a little bit more research, I could probably find that. The 4th highest game is Candy Crush.
Oh
Just so
wow.
you know.
Now, well, I don't want to be anecdotal or anything, but it seems like Candy Crush has sort of lost some steam. I thought, but it's still impressive, right?
Candy Crush is still, as of last year, raking in $1.1 billion a year.
That is also crazy. These
That
are
is
all crazy
horrible.
things you're saying.
It's all crazy because I can't see who spends money on Candy Crush. What is
Not me.
that?
Not me. I broke free of all these games.
Yeah, like I don't. There's times where I could justify spending a money on a game that I'm playing because I'm like, you know what? I would have the amount of hours that I put into it. Like, okay, yeah, maybe I can throw $20 into it a year, something like that. I can't justify it $1,000 a year, $2,000 a year. I can't just. I can maybe. I might spend like a whole $2 on Pokemon Go this next week just because I can't get enough Pokeballs and a community day is coming. And right now they're changing the code of the game to make it more you don't have to walk around as much to play Pokemon Go just
That's
because
probably for the best.
they don't want people walking around right now basically. So
Yeah.
that's going on. But I think it's dumb that people think that Pokemon Go is like non-existent when it's one of the biggest games in the world.
Well, I haven't seen anyone playing Pokemon Go near me today, so I'm pretty sure people have stopped playing it. So I don't think that's dumb.
I hate you so much right now. Going to Judge Coin. Let me hit the old share button. Heads means not dumb, and agreeing with Brandon. Tails means it's dumb, which is the correct answer.
All right. I think you've been playing your wrong fake clip of coin flip.
I hate that coin so much right now.
It's, you know what, I'm kind of a fan. I gotta say, I'm enjoying that coin. Maybe I was wrong about this whole coin thing.
Okay. You tell me things that you're a fan of that you were a huge fan of back in 2016.
Well, yeah, I mean, certainly going back to Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, that might have been the second most talked about thing during our original season of this show. Probably topping the list, and this is something I did intentionally, not just because I enjoyed it, but because it was just fun to bring up constantly, was Hamilton, which it started on Broadway not too long before we started, and I had listened to the cast recording before it was available because they streamed it on NPR, and I listened to the whole thing, and I was captivated. And obviously, there was no way I was ever going to see it with that cast because I am a normal human with normal human money, or normal middle class American money, I'd say. As much as I would have liked to, I appreciated the spirit behind it. The music was great. It taught good historical lessons about the founding fathers. And it was a really powerful, very different show featuring a lot of cast members of color in roles that, for instance, as Jefferson, as Washington, as all of the founding fathers, taking it as an experience more than a strict historical guideline, which was proven because there are actually a lot of historical inaccuracies all throughout it. For instance, the idea that Philip Schuyler had no son, but he totally did. But it's said within the show that he doesn't. In the Hamilton book that Lin-Manuel Miranda put out, which obviously I have, he even puts in the annotations, "I forgot," as the reason for that lyric existing. Which, you know what, respect. But so the reason this conversation is coming back around is because when the original cast was still together on Broadway, they shot a film version of it, sort of. It was still on stage, but it was the original cast, fancy cameras, lots of angles, lots of producing it such like a great performances type thing on PBS, with the idea that someday they would release it in theaters. I think the idea was to wait until the touring companies had gone around a couple times, until possibly there were dips in revenue for the Broadway version, which never really seems to happen. But the touring companies have gone around, so they finally set a release date of October 2021, which is fine. It's far away. Waiting is never fun, even though there is a song called "Wait for It" in the show. So as a result of the global whoopsie that is happening now, and the fact that everyone is shut in their homes or other places such as Florida, they have decided to release it on Disney Plus,
Right.
and that's happening on July 3rd. So it's, instead of going to theaters, instead of going to digital on demand, instead of anything like that, they're just, if you have Disney Plus, then you get to watch it. Also, I've seen 3 or 4 people say, well, I guess I'm getting Disney Plus now, which, because we know how anecdotal evidence works, means everybody's doing it. So they're going to have a lot of extra revenue, which is probably good considering the hit that Disney took over the last few months, which has been substantial. I mean, they're still doing just okay, but this is going to be a big boost for them. And I'm sure that, you know, Lin-Manuel Miranda knows that. He's been working with them so much over the last few years. Mary Poppins Returns, and he did Moana. He's working on The Little Mermaid live action, including writing new songs for it, which is insane. And must be amazing for him because his son's name is Sebastian. So The Little Mermaid has had an impact on his life. However, this is not the only Lin-Manuel Miranda film that is coming in the future. In March of 2008, In the Heights premiered. And that was a show that he wrote when he was at Wesleyan. And it was a big deal. Everyone knew that it was important. It went to Broadway. He won his first Tony. He accepted his Tony with a freestyle rap that he made up on the spot because he's Lin-Manuel Miranda. And so that has been shot as a film with lots of famous people, including some of the people from the original cast of the show. The woman who plays Abuela Claudia is the same who's on stage, which is great. But then you've got Jimmy Smits, who's got a prominent role. And you've got Daphne Rubin Vega, who was in the original cast of Rent. She's in it. Stephanie Beatriz from Brooklyn Nine-Nine is in it. I didn't pull up the list of the cast. These are all just off the top of my head. And Anthony Ramos. What?
I was actually noticing that all of this stuff, like you actually did put some notes in the show notes, like touchstones for you to go on. All you wrote on this was just the date that Into the Heights was on Broadway. That's it, and just the rest of it.
I'm not good at dates. The rest, I got that on lock.
Yeah.
So Anthony Ramos plays the lead, who was originally played by Lin-Manuel Miranda on Broadway. Anthony Ramos was also the Hamilton alternate in Hamilton. So he and Lin-Manuel Miranda would switch out the role. So it's very exciting. It's a story about, it's essentially people in Washington Heights, which it was a Dominican-American neighborhood of Washington Heights in particular. It's all about struggle and gentrification and the issues that they faced, and then just intrapersonal issues between all of these folks. It's a really good story. And this film version that they've made has also, it's been updated to a more modern time frame because it includes now information about the DREAM Act and about dreamers and how that has impacted the residents of Washington Heights, that community in general. So that was set to be released June 26th of this year. Then the global whoopsie happened, and it has been pushed back to next year, June 18th of 2021. For me, I understand that Hamilton's a big deal, and that Hamilton is a global phenomenon and is a way really for Disney to make a lot of money if they put it in theaters. In the Heights is a much smaller win, but in my opinion, has a lot of more important things to say. And in a lot of ways is a better original type story. And it's done, it's in the can. It was supposed to come out next month. So I think it's dumb that if they're going to put a Lin-Manuel Miranda show onto Disney Plus or onto any sort of platform to watch at home, why not pick the one that fewer people have heard of and has a stronger message about struggle and pain, and especially, and I hate to use this phrase, in times like these, about the power of different types of communities and coming together. Because a big part of the story of In the Heights is you've got people living in that neighborhood who are from Puerto Rico, the Dominican Republic, from all of these different, from Cuba, that's where the one family is from, all of these groups that have come together, it's formed a community, which is pretty great and a nice message for times like these. So it's dumb that they went for the shiny one and not the substantive one.
Okay, full disclosure, what about me? Because at this point, I have not heard the entire soundtrack of Hamilton yet. I've heard maybe 2 or 3 songs a couple times. I have purposely avoided listening to it. This is taken effort. This is, by the way, this is not out of spite. When we first talked about it, I was excited about it. And you mentioned with the cast how it's expensive. It was expensive when it wasn't the original cast,
Right.
except for the $10 tickets. They had the chance to buy $10 tickets each day. When it
Right,
was
the
here
lottery.
in the LA area, I entered that competition every single day. Did not win it. So I was like, no, okay, I don't get. I kind of want. There's sometimes with a musical when I hear about it, I'm like, oh, that sounds interesting. There's no way in hell I want to listen to it before I watch it. I had a chance. I was a huge in high school, huge Les Miserables fan. Just freaking loved it. And then I went to London, and it was showing on West End, and I had a chance to get really cheap tickets to watch it. And I realized in the back of my head, no, don't do it. Because at that point in time, I knew exactly every single note in that book. I knew every single line. I knew the staging. I wanted to be in that play. I wanted
Right.
my high school to put it on as our senior musical, and we didn't. But I had it so fixated, and I realized if I go and if I watch that in theater right now, I'm only going to spot the one mistake they make, and I'm going to fixate on it, and I'm going to hate it. And I went and I saw a couple plays that I had never seen before. I hadn't seen anything about Miss Saigon, so I went and watched that. And I
Oh, that's a
went
good
and
one.
saw the Reduced Shakespeare Company. And I
Yeah.
freaking loved that. And those experiences were so formative and enjoyable that I've done this before, where whenever I know that I'm going to have a chance to go watch something on stage, I don't watch it. I just close it out, keep it blank. And now I get a chance to watch Hamilton. My first exposure to it is going to be watching the original cast at their peak. And I'm excited for that.
Mm-hmm. And I agree. And you still would be able to if it were released October 2021, as was originally planned.
But then
So
I
I'm
have
not
to
saying
wait.
that.
But to be fair, I still have to wait for In the Heights too, and that's not fair either. But I don't disagree with Disney's move here, because they've got some problems. Because while not only are theaters being shut down from the whoopsie, I mean, they had to put Onward. Onward got 2 weeks in theater. I got to see it. It was amazing. It's a beautiful in theater movie, and now it's already on Disney Plus because they're like, well, we're not going to make $1 billion off of this movie. We'll have to settle for the 120 million instead, something like that. It counts as one of the biggest animation flops for them, despite
Yeah.
yeah, it actually lost money, but they need to start studying Disney Plus with some star power, because right now they had 2 big amazing things come out with the rollout of Disney Plus, and one of them they no longer feel that they're able to talk about. They had The Mandalorian, and they're trying to get us psyched up for Mandalorian season 2, and the other day one release was The World According to Jeff Goldblum. And they feel icky about talking about Goldblum, and I don't get it. Like that one, that's a whole topic that we get into. It's actually a charming, lovely show. Otherwise, their Marvel rollout is goofed up because they
Right.
didn't finish shooting Winter Soldier and Falcon, and they're probably going to have to swap Winter Soldier and Falcon with WandaVision just so that they can get something on the screen for the Marvel side. That they're just missing content right now because all these things that were supposed to be finished and rolling out all these productions got stopped. So they need something to point at and say, this is why. Basically, like Netflix, they had Tiger King. Like you want to keep Netflix so you can watch Tiger King, and then after that, now they're doing like, okay, let's start talking Avatar: The Last Airbender, and they're throwing that out right now. But they always have these like pillars that they go from every few weeks. You need to have some reason to say this is why you're subscribing to this service. So I don't think it's dumb that they went with the big shiny name brand recognition. I think that's good marketing.
Well, you're wrong, but let's see what the coin says.
Always with the freaking coin. Okay.
Why am I the coin advocate all of a sudden?
You're suddenly like super coin this. Like it's all about the coin.
Well,
Coin
we appear to be
is
pals. The coin and I are good friends right now.
all right. I'm saying that right away that I'm gonna have to say that the heads it's not dumb, tails it is dumb. Come on, heads. It's not dumb.
Now, it's interesting that that's the first time you haven't shared your screen while doing the coin flip.
What?
And I happen to not win.
What?
I believe you.
There it is. Do we need to reflip it? Is that what you're saying?
No, I believe you,
heads.
Darren. No, I know you would never ever cheat just to win at a dumbness category ever. So yeah, I guess you win. Let's move on.
Oh, it's gonna be tainted, but at the end of the day, I'm okay with that.
A win is a win, right?
So, okay, I have yet to pay attention to the order on the show notes. So why start now? Because while we're talking about having that big star lineup item in a streaming service, well, I've already complained earlier this episode about having multiple channels and things. Let's talk HBO Max. It's Time Warner's new big shiny streaming service that they're getting ready to roll out. It's coming soon. And they made some waves this week announcing a certain movie is going to be on HBO Max. They announced that Justice League is going to be on HBO Max. But that's not what makes it dumb. Even though, in all fairness, if you've watched Justice League, it's pretty dumb.
Yeah, we agree.
They went dumber. It's the Snyder Cut is coming to HBO Max in 2021.
Cool. I
don't know what to say about it. Like there's a part of me that's curious about it. It's like the Donner cut of Superman 2, you know, which actually came out better. I honestly think that if you look at the how much do you know about that? Should I give
I'm familiar with the whole situation. I think we talked about that last season at some point, or maybe that was something you and I talked about one-on-one. I don't care. I think it's interesting to stick with a director's original vision, blah, blah, blah. But I enjoy the movies that they put out that are just done. And I have not seen the Donner cut. I will certainly not be seeing the Snyder cut, but I don't want to take away from your topic.
Trust me, like with the Donner cut, it's still a very dumb Superman 2. There's still elements in it that you're like, wait, that was stuff that we fought to keep. Like I want to say really just off the top of my head that the amnesia kiss and the weird cellophane S that turns into a net,
right?
That's still there. The flying around the world backwards to time travel, that's still there, I think. But it's also got Marlon Brando in it now. So, okay. I'm talking completely out of my butt on that one because I can't remember the differences. What did I write? My notes were, I just wanted to talk, I guess, about the DC Extended Universe. I like the DC Extended Universe. I like that. Well, I like it in terms of a tipping the scales type of thing, because if you actually realize how much is there, most of it, and by most of it, I mean like 51% of it is stuff that I've enjoyed. So I'm kind of morbidly curious to see the Snyder Cut. I absolutely hate Man of Steel. I cannot be stronger about this. Snyder proved to me that he did not understand Superman when he made that movie. There is two giant flaws in it. First off, General Zod tells Superman this only ends one of two ways: either you kill me or I kill you. And then Superman kills him. So not only does Superman kill, but the villain gives an ultimatum and is right. And that rankles me so much. That's bad writing. That's not good. That Superman is supposed to be, he's supposed to be basically the Doctor from Doctor Who. Like he's an alien, he's immortal, you can't really kill him or else the fandom's going to go nuts about it. He's got crazy superpowers. In Doctor Who's case, it's a sonic screwdriver, a time machine, 2 hearts regeneration, psychic paper. In Superman's case, it's heat vision, frost breath, flight, super strength, stuff like that. Like, so they're ridiculously overpowered aliens that are supposed to show us the human experience, and that are supposed to be pro science and nerdy and all about life. And I think Man of Steel, they were like, let's show how hard he could punch, and like, let's make him kill. And that Superman kept going. And I think they made the argument that Man of Steel was supposed to say, well, we did Man of Steel, we had him kill so that he could see that it was wrong. And then he learned his lesson. So then in Batman versus Superman Dawn of Justice, or as I like to call it, BVS DOJ, they bring back Zod so that Superman can kill him again.
Yep.
That's what's going on here. So then Justice League, they bring back Superman. I'm surprised they couldn't find like more reasons for him to kill again. Like I have to mentally like Brandon, have you seen Justice League?
I believe I did. I don't really remember.
Okay. Do you remember who the villain was in Justice League?
I believe it was it Doomsday? No. Was it? I don't know.
Okay, you got up to about 13 seconds there before you realized, no, can't even remember. You may have thought Darkseid, maybe?
I did think Darkseid, but I remember that being a Snyder thing.
Well, yeah, but no, because Snyder did have Darkseid's minion, Steppenwolf, as the main villain, and that actually still is the villain in Justice League. It's still Steppenwolf, and it's still that, because I really like Jack Kirby DC stuff. Wouldn't have gone near Steppenwolf. Just nope, that's not even close. I would have maybe the Black Racer, maybe. Yeah, that would have been fun. Metronome, that could have been fun. Freaking Darkseid himself. Yeah, but I get that you want to pull Darkseid back and have him be this Thanos level villain. Okay, fine. You need an excuse to get the team together for one big fight scene. Everybody also likes watching the heroes fight each other. This is basically the plot of Avengers. If only the first ever issue of Justice League had, I don't know, a mind-controlling monster that brings the Justice League together and makes them fight each other. I don't know how hard that would be to take all these super recognizable heroes and watch them fight each other with little starfish stuck to their face. Why didn't they use Starro? It's right
I love
there.
Starro. And because that was the origin of the Justice League to begin with, and is one of my favorite Silver Age comic books of all time, is that first issue with starfish faces and the big giant Starro in the sky, just like burping them out. It's what that says to me is DC Comics. Within a certain era, maybe, but they also brought Starro back in Justice League in the 90s, was it? Or was it the 2000s? I don't know, I lost track. But Starro, it could have been fun, and which, as we know, fun is the opposite of the DC film.
Yes, at that time. And basically it did so badly that they were like, hey, why don't we try fun? And then they actually tried fun, and those movies are fun, and I like those movies. By the way, Starro, he's back in the Young Justice. Was it Young Justice? What do they call that one? Yeah, well, it's the Outsiders on the DC you streaming channel, the not HBO, which by the way, that's one of the things that's bothering me about this is that they're releasing it on HBO Max, despite the fact that Warner Brothers has a completely DC branded streaming service that they keep forgetting about. And
Yeah,
some of the
I
things
don't
that
see
they're
that
bragging.
continuing.
What's that?
So I don't see that continuing. I see that whole DCU service just folding into HBO Max.
It feels like they're trying to do that. In fact, they were announcing all these really good things on the DC thing that are going to show up on HBO Max. It's like, wait, they're already out. They're over there. Just bring them over here. So it's definitely, yeah, it's I don't mind it. I mean, there's some great stuff there. It deserves to be seen. So that'll be exciting for later. But that being said, now they've added fun into it because Aquaman, that was a fun movie. Shazam, I loved that one. That was perfectly designed as a family-friendly superhero movie. That was great. Did not get a chance to see Birds of Prey. I was looking forward to seeing Wonder Woman 84. I really want to see the Suicide Squad, not to be confused with Suicide Squad.
Of course.
And yeah, those are exciting movies for me. So yeah, I like the DCU. I just don't like what Snyder did with it. I like Snyder movies too. I do actually enjoy 300. I did enjoy his Watchmen take.
And the Dawn of the Dead remake that James Gunn wrote and Zack Snyder directed is really good.
Ooh,
It is one of my favorite zombie films of all time. So I like Zack Snyder sometimes.
But I'm gonna have to say it that the Snyder cut, just releasing the Snyder cut and it finally happening, it's dumb.
Do you know what you're gonna get on Twitter now for saying this? Because I don't know if you've ever been on Twitter. It's a social media platform, but there are some pretty ravenous release the Snyder cut fanboys out there, and girls, fanboys, fangirls, whichever, who will jump on anyone who criticizes not releasing the Snyder cut. So for that reason, I would say, and my Twitter handle is at Brandon J. Carr, that releasing the Snyder cut is the least dumb thing that they could ever do.
Yeah, but you are forcing this on purpose. That is so forced. I am not happy with you, sir. You are. Okay, let me actually hit the share button this time. Mm-hmm. It's dumb. And for the record, yes, I am familiar with being hated on Twitter. I have publicly admitted to liking episode 8 of Star Wars. So let's flip that coin. It is. Wait, no. That's dumb. That means dumb. Yes.
Sure. Did you establish that beforehand? I don't remember that.
Heads means use your head. Tails, it's a fail. That means dumb. Dumb.
Fair enough.
So dumb. The coin has spoken. All righty. We're putting 10 minutes on the clock, and I hope I don't have to use them because I think we've gone over on every single topic today. And that was my logic was like, let's just use the coin judge today because that way we won't run over on time. It'll be less editing for me. And no. Right. Final thing, Chuck E. Cheese is dumb. Not taking the low-hanging fruit here. Honestly, I've been to Chuck E. Cheese lately, like in the past 2 years of my life. I've had to go there a couple times. I have 2 young children that are in the play skee ball and whack-a-mole type thing. Have I managed to convince them that you only are allowed to go to Chuck E. Cheese if it's a special party? Yes, I have. That said, the pizza's not that bad. It's actually edible. They have really good Wi-Fi service there. And also the games are fun to play. I actually like to play the games. So that's not what's dumb about it. What's dumb about it is technically I'm talking about Pascali's Pizza and Wings. Are you familiar with this?
I am. I love this.
So apparently, I do this a lot too lately. I've been trying to order a lot of food locally from restaurants. I live in an area that has a very vibrant restaurant community that is not chain centric. Last night I actually had I'm gonna give them a free plug. Belly Bombs. If you've never heard of them, they're a food truck in the LA area. They also have a couple local stores. They do some fantastic. They do Korean fusion. They do some wings. So I like getting the delivery food local, and it's
Right.
keeping these restaurants. And this is part of what I like living in here. Is it's got a great restaurant culture, and I don't want to see it go away. So I'm trying my best to make sure I eat delivery food a couple nights a week right now because I can and I want them to be there. And I'm also trying to avoid using Grubhub and Uber Eats, all that stuff. If you order from these places, check with their website first. A lot of them, they're okay with using Postmates or Grubhub or Uber Eats, but other ones, they have their own delivery drivers and they make more profit if they can use those guys to deliver your food instead. So
Right.
use that wisely. That being said, this one lady decided that she would start ordering from her favorite local pizzeria that she had only recently ever heard of called Pascali's Pizza and Wings. And she recognized the flavor of the pizza and kind of had to ask the driver, "Did you just deliver Chuck E. Cheese pizza?" It was very confusing to them. And what they did is there's two restaurants using the same kitchen. There's Chuck E. Cheese that is dine-in only, and Pascali's Pizza, which is delivery Chuck E. Cheese pizza. By the way, Pascali, in case you didn't remember, he's officially the fictional chef of Chuck E. Cheese and occasional keyboard player in Munch's make-believe bands.
Oh boy. All right.
That makes it so horrific for me. Like, wait, an animatronic chef. Okay, I'm okay with it. Animatronic chef slash keyboard player. No, I'm out. That's it could have been worse. It could have been the bassist or the drum player. Except there
Oof.
isn't a bassist in Munch's Make Believe Band. Therefore, Pascali is the bass. And Mr. Munch was the drums, by the way. And somehow Mr. Munch runs the band. Who lets the drummer run the band? That's how you get Foo Fighters, guys. Genesis. That's a good point too. By the Chuck E. Cheese was on vocals with Helen Henney and Jasper T. Jowls on guitar. So doing the research that I do, because that alone was the dumb part, is the fact that Chuck E. Cheese is secretly pretending to not be Chuck E. Cheese to not go out of business. Apparently they've been doing this for a while, but yeah, they're Pascali's Pizza as well. And wait, did you have some the note on that?
I did add a note on that. Yes.
What is this?
So, in addition to Chuck E. Cheese pulling their nonsense, Applebee's has also been listed as neighborhood wings on Grubhub, so that they're pulling the same kind of thing, so that they're not Applebee's. And it all came out around the same time about the Chuck E. Cheese and Applebee's thing. So I'm expecting that we're going to find out about a lot more chains that are either doing this already or are going to start.
That's why I'm making efforts to eat at chains that I've actually physically been to and I want to keep eating at later. So that's been my defense.
Right. I've been getting all. Sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I fell down a rabbit hole when I was investigating Pascali's Pizza, and I was trying to find out more about Munch's Make Believe Band, which led me to the Rock-afire Explosion, which is apparently the band that Munch's Make Believe Band is based off of.
Well, it's not an actual band. That Rock-afire Explosion was the band from Showbiz Pizza, which was another animatronic band. Showbiz Pizza was around where I grew up before it became part of Chuck E. Cheese. And the only reason I know this is because recently a friend of mine posted on Facebook, what is the greatest American rock band of all time? And I immediately looked up what the band was at Showbiz Pizza, and my answer was the Rock-afire Explosion. Not only did it not get a response like everyone else's suggestions did, it didn't even get a like. I thought it was a great bit of whimsy on my part, and I felt very disappointed. So I now hate the Rock-afire Explosion.
Well, I think if anybody recognized the Rockefeller explosion, they were 100% correct in not liking the fuel of nightmares that was that band. Let's
Uh-huh.
be real.
Oh
You
yeah.
realize I can actually tie this band directly to the fall of Western society.
I dare you to do it.
I'll dare and I'll take it along because now we look into the world of Aaron Fetcher and the fact that I am going to have to find the Rockefeller explosion documentary that follows the life of Aaron Fetcher as well as Atari Games. Because in 1975, Aaron Fetcher made the Rockefeller explosion. And he has the greatest quote in this saying, "Some people say I'm a puppeteer, some people say I'm unemployed, but what I really am is an inventor."
What?
Yes, he was an engineer. He was a college dropout, and he was a guy that made animatronic. He got hired randomly as an engineer. He's had built his own engineering firm in '73. During this, that was a special period in American history because that was during the whole gas crisis thing where gas like skyrocketed in. It changed the automotive industry of the whole what was that called? I'm blanking for a second. I should have wrote this in the notes because yeah, he
Uh,
graduated in the oil crisis. That's what it's referred to in that. Yeah, the oil crisis. So he starts designing an electronic fuel efficient car in '73. He's got a great design for it. He's working on it. He's going to revolutionize the whole industry, but he can't get it going fast enough. He could have been making Tesla in the '70s, and that didn't happen. And somebody hired him to build an animatronic band, and he abandons it entirely. No more electric cars. Now just horrific nightmare fuel animatronic bears and wolves singing to us, and then eventually letting cigar smoking Chuck E. Cheese, who was really just like the heckler of the Rockefeller explosion, take over the whole thing. And that's where we are today.
did you, in your research, did you find out what Chuck E. Cheese's full name is?
I want to say it's Chuck Entertainment Cheese, right?
It's actually Charles Entertainment Cheese, but yes, you got the E right for sure.
That was not off of research. That was completely off of guessing. I also want to point out that Fetcher was hanging out in 2003 in chat rooms dedicated to the Rockefeller explosion, where he met his current wife.
That is a very weird fact.
That is a very weird fact. And I don't know if I should be horrified or just think that that's a sign that true love is real. That's all I could say. So I'm going to have to say Pascal's Pizza, just ignoring the Rockefeller explosion entirely. If we run long for time, I'm cutting that entirely. Pascal's Pizza, pretending to be the friendly neighborhood pizzeria, is dumb.
Just for you, because we're friends, I'm going to agree with you.
I appreciate that.
I mean, you're wrong, but I'm going to agree with you right now so that you are finally happy. Now go ahead and pretend to flip the coin.
All I'm saying is you're pretending that I'm happy. That makes me happy. So we have agreed that Pascal's Pizza is dumb, that the Snyder Cut is so dumb, that it's not dumb that Hamilton is coming to Disney Plus. How dare you? At Pokemon Go, it's not dumb that people think that nobody's playing it. And it is not dumb that the Y-Wing is being used to celebrate Empire Strikes Back in Star Wars Galaxy Heroes.
Because Wilro Hood is behind the wheel of the Y-Wing.
Wilro Hood, renowned X-Wing pilot and ice cream aficionado, is here to save that creamy goodness from the Empire. For Brandon J. Carr, I'm Darren J. Gendron, and this has been Five Dumb Things.
Bye.
Stop.